This is the battle of two of the most popular mid-range phones today. This is Pixel 6a versus the new Samsung Galaxy A54. Let's go to work. So just to give you a quick run through of these two phones, the Samsung Galaxy A54 is being sold right now at 550 Canadian dollars, while Pixel 6a is 400 Canadian dollars. I think this is two of the most popular mid-range phones today. Galaxy A54 has triple camera setup with 50 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and an underwhelming 5 megapixel macro. While Pixel 6a borrowed the last generation sensors with 12.2 megapixel wide and 12 megapixel ultra wide. This is two of the best value mid-range phones today. On our first test, color profile or saturation, the tendencies of these two phones are very evident. Pixel 6a is well balanced, that natural HDR look, it controls the shadows and dynamic range really well. While Samsung Galaxy A54, like any other Samsung phone, will give you vivid colors and brighter image, sometimes to the extent of too bright like what you see on this photo, making the image cheap looking. I mean, on a blind test, you wouldn't normally see big difference between the two, and in bright conditions, you would probably see similar looking photos 95% of the time. It's just those small attention to details that would separate them. The colors on the main and ultra wide lens are pretty consistent on both phones. I think one of the giveaways on colors is the color of the sky. Samsung will try to make it bluer even on cloudy situation. This is a personal preference. On a vlogging test using the selfie camera, the Samsung Galaxy A54 can offer 4K 30 FPS, while the Pixel 6a can offer speech enhancement, which eliminates the background noise. Checking 4K 30 FPS video using the main sensor, Pixel 6a is as good as any other flagship phone. It has great stabilization and colors with the availability of speech enhancement. While Galaxy A54 is wider, but right off the bat, you will see that the video is shaky. Video stabilization is not activated on 4K video. We can apply the super steady shot, but it will go down to full HD. So let's go ahead and test the active mode versus super steady, and I don't like the active mode of Pixel 6a to be honest. The autofocus is hunting and sometimes the footage is blurry. While the super steady mode of Samsung Galaxy A54 is better, it is wider, sharper, and the stabilization is now very smooth. Next is close focus, and this is where Samsung Galaxy A54 has advantage over Pixel 6a. It is a dedicated macro sensor that can give you 5 megapixel macro images. You cannot go closer on Pixel 6a, but there's a way to fix this with our product collaboration. Let's quickly check this out. There are certain cell phones that doesn't have macro capability like Pixel 6a, and it sucks, right? It cannot compete with other phones that has macro capability. Today we're collaborating with Apexel to introduce their new macro lens kit. So you will receive a nice pouch with a macro lens and multifunctional lens clip. The clip has hot shoe and tripod mount, and you can adjust it horizontally and vertically to get the right position of the smartphone lens. The lens has front and back cover, and the front glass is also protected by an ND filter, so if you need to step down the shutter speed of your smartphone. And once we apply this on our smartphone, you can now see that it can now take beautiful macro shots because it's a prime macro lens with 100mm range. So if you're interested in checking out their product, I will leave the link in the description below. Now let's go back to the video. Next, let's check flaring, and as you can see on the ultra-wide lens, there's a little bit of purple flaring on Pixel 6a. Moving to the main sensor, both phones are really good. Galaxy A54 was just blown out a little bit on the highlights, looking at the sun. And going to the night shot, it is evident that Samsung Galaxy A54 controls the flaring better. Pixel 6a is too harsh with that linear flare. Next is 4K 30 FPS using the ultra-wide sensor, and Pixel 6a is just ahead of its class. With its great colors, contrast, and stabilization, it's a little punched in but all good. While Samsung Galaxy A54 has wider field of view, but there's a little bit of warping going on as we pan the video. And again, the video stabilization is not present on 4K video recording, and since it's ultra-wide, it's not that bad in walking and slower movement. Talking about the highlights looking outside the window, you will see that both phones are managing it really good. In terms of exposure, again, brighter image on Galaxy A54, it has slightly better dynamic range. And looking at the white balance, I cannot say one is warmer than the other, both has neutral white balance. Let's check the video zoom capability on 4K 30 FPS, and Pixel 6a can only go 5x. While the new Samsung Galaxy A54 can go as far as 10x, and that's twice as Pixel 6a. checking the sharpness using the main sensor, both phones have sharp images, but there's an extra detail on the 50 megapixel Samsung Galaxy A54. If we check the ultra-wide lens, Pixel 6a is superior than Galaxy A54, and all throughout this comparison, you will see that the ultra-wide sensor of Galaxy A54 is just okay. And speaking of details, shooting this brick, if you zoom in, you will see that the 50 megapixel sensor of Galaxy A54 has more detail compared to the 12 megapixel of Pixel 6a. This is the slow motion test, and Galaxy A54 is slower. And same with super slow motion, A54 is better. Next is selfie video recording, and both phones can only do Full HD resolution, which offers stabilization, and I can tell you, Pixel 6a is so much better. Because looking at Galaxy A54, the quality is a bit washed out, and you would notice micro jitters even in Full HD, but it offers 4K video with the same quality. This is portrait mode without human subject, and it is evident that Samsung Galaxy A54 can give you wider field of view, but inspecting the quality of the subject separation, you would see that it's a hit or miss on Galaxy A54. Going for human subjects, still wider field of view on Samsung Galaxy A54, it is also a tad brighter and smoother than Pixel 6a. But the skin tone, clarity, details, and contrast goes to Pixel 6a again. Computational photography of Google is kicking in, even on mid-range phones. And looking at my selfie, it is the same story, more details on my face, and better contrast looking at my shirt. But the biggest story is the night shot, as Pixel 6a loses on the battle on the main sensor. One, Galaxy A54 managed the flaring better, and on this image the colors of Galaxy A54 is closer than real life. The colors of the house is brown and not yellow. And if you can see, there's more details on Galaxy A54, but just noisier. On this image, there are two things that stands out for me. One, if you look on the window, you will see that there's more information on Galaxy A54. And look at the stupidly dark trees, there's more information on Galaxy A54. I think the biggest consolation of Pixel 6a comes from the ultra-wide sensor. It is brighter than Galaxy A54, and also the main sensor, just a little bit. And on video recording, it seems like it's the same story. Remember, the sensor on Pixel 6a is an older sensor from the previous generation Pixel phones. It's just a computational photography that's giving Pixel 6a an edge on photos. So on sheer performance of the main sensor, Galaxy A54 is sharper, cleaner, and brighter. And same story with the selfie video, Pixel 6a is grainy, and something that you would see on a phone 10 years ago. While Samsung Galaxy A54 has purple tint on it, but it is sharper and has more details to it. And lastly, digital zoom. Pixel 6a can only do 7x on photos, while Samsung Galaxy A54 can zoom 10x. It has a better reach. So this is the ultimate camera test of Samsung Galaxy A54 versus Pixel 6a. These are two of the best mid-range phones, but there are polarizing strengths and weaknesses. Let's do a recap. Pixel 6a has natural-looking photos, speech enhancement, stabilized 4K video, sharper ultra-wide lens, better portrait mode, better selfie video quality, and brighter night shots. While the new Samsung Galaxy A54 has more saturated images, 4K 30fps selfie, super steady mode, dedicated macro lens, managed the flaring better, better exposure, longer video zoom reach, more detailed 50 megapixel sensor, better slow motion, better quality night shots, better low light videos, and longer zoom on photos. I think the strength of Pixel 6a is coming from the video side. The video stabilization is good across all sensors. It has speech enhancement for vlogging, and the ultra-wide is better on this phone. While the new Samsung Galaxy A54 has a dedicated macro sensor to shoot those close-up photos, it has a huge 50 megapixel main sensor that can zoom more, and surprisingly, because of the newer sensor of this mid-range phone, it has a better low-light capability than Pixel 6a, something that Pixel owns for the past few years. All in all, you can't go wrong with any of these two phones. I guess pick the one that meets your need. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll continue to compare this phone in our channel, so stay tuned. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.